Well, hello, hello, hello. I am not sure if you can hear me. I think I am alive and that yes, you can hear me. So that would be good. Let's just have a look at the chat. Let me find the chat. No, that's not the chat. I can see some people have joined us. There's the chat. I am still quite new to the setup backstage, so finding my way around on the fly, nothing new there. So I thought I would have a play with my latest designs that I launched last Friday. Sorry I didn't go live last week, but yes, real life tends to get in the way. Hello, Karen. So unfortunately, yes, real life gets in the way, and well, not much we can do about that. So here I am, and I thought I would do a quick walkthrough. This is the 5x7 journal. There is lots of blank space for either adding other images like I'm going to do tonight, stenciling, stamping, or sticking pockets and so on, or for writing. So I know some people like to use these journals for either gratitude journals or just making notes, something pretty to have around. And so this time around, I did leave lots of space. Oh, thanks, Karen. Yes, I do. I'm enjoying my longer nails. It's taken me quite a while to get used to having longer nails. When I first started doing the nail polish thing, I had never had nails in my life. So I feel quite grown up now with pretty nails. And slowly but surely, the nail technician has been letting them get a little bit longer every week, every 3 weeks. So this is the inside of the book. And this particular book, it actually doesn't matter how you put it together. Some of the journals I've put together in a very specific manner so that everything matches. This one is just these gorgeous soft pastel pinks and peachy colors with butterflies and little birds. There are not a lot of birds in this one. So, yeah, well, that is the book. And then there are ephemera. So I've actually snuck in my storage. This, I know because it's blank on the back. This is the set of tags that went with the membership area. So I always give them something extra. And so there were these tags, and then there's a few things on the other side here. But these things were all in the ephemera pack. And so there are these large, what I call card fronts. And I have printed one of the papers on the back so that, if you're going to be sticking them in pockets or whatever, they are not blank. And I just like it when you turn something over and it isn't blank. But however, if you do it blank, there are so many ways that you can ink the back, stamp, stencil, write notes, use them as actual tags. So you don't have to print something on the backs of the tags. Then we have a set, and they're kind of mixed up in here, of almost like postcards with the roses and things. So you'll see there's like this little design here is what I have used also for some of the background paper. It is part of what I put on the back there. So there's a lot of repetition throughout the series so that things link together nicely. So I've got these lovely old looking postcardy things, and again, they've all got stuff on the back. I've got these, what I call cut aparts. Again, they could be card fronts, and I've got them repeated. And again, I have printed on the back. So quite often what I do when I'm printing these printables is I print them at different scales. It's what you can see here in this sleeve. I have printed what's called 2 up. So these are the A4 sets. Oh, come on, come out. that I have printed 2 up so that you get different scale designs. So that you can cut them out and use them, which is what I'm going to use tonight. I'm going to use these for pockets. This is a full scale A4 print. This is the repeat pattern. This is again the repeat pattern. So here you can see the different scale of the dots when you print them 2 up on the sheet. A whole sheet of teeny tiny butterflies, big butterflies for you to cut out or use as is. And again, this is the 2 different scales. It looks quite grey on my screen, but it's actually kind of a muted pink. That's the problem with cameras. They change everything. This is what I printed on the back of these things. So I've printed on the thinner paper. I print on 140 GSM double-sided matte photo paper. And then these ones I have printed on the 180 GSM, so it's a lot thicker. And these were the tickets that you saw me using the vintage stamp set on. So here I have, it's a vintage counting stamp set. So you can either do one, I don't know why you can't, oh, there's 2. 4 times 2, 3 times 1. I don't know. It's all a bit confusing. But if every time you stamp, it rolls the number automatically for you. So it's really clever. Weighs a small ton, but it's gorgeous. And I've been dying to use it on something. So I did scan the numbers in, and now they are on the tickets when you print them out. So here you go. I have put the tickets with all the different numbers on there, so they come pre-printed with the numbers, which is quite fun. So I do like to use some authentic vintage thing, and somewhere I'm going to use this. I absolutely love this giant stamp as well. So what are we going to do tonight? Let's have a look. See, I've decided I'm going to start this book, and I am going to make a pocket using some of these papers. So this is why I printed these out. I'm going to use, I think, either this one or the dark green. I quite like the dark green as a pocket. And I need to make the pockets so that I can fit perhaps some of these big pieces in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a pocket to fit the height of this so that I can slide that in. And then I'm going to decorate the rest of the page, perhaps with some stenciling and some stamping. So let's get all of this stuff out of the way. And then I can start planning and cutting. So there we go. Right. So I'm going to use the paper because it's easier. Now I'm not going to make, let me just bring this back, having just taken it off shot. When I made these pockets, so they're in the latest download for the website freebie that I give for signing up to my newsletter. And they have these little tabs on the side. And I tend to find that with the tabs, it means that there's a lot more space and things want to fly out. So it's fine if you've got a vertical pocket like this and you're turning the pages. Nothing really wants to fall out of them. But if you're doing a side-on pocket like this, I find, so instead of having those tabs that you would then glue and put on, I'm actually going to just glue the pocket straight onto the paper so that I won't have such a slippy pocket. Right, so now we need my cutting mat, craft knife and ruler. and we can take it from there. Now I've just chopped off that blade, so it's a nice sharp blade. Let's just double check my measurements. This should be 7 inches. Yes, so I want my pocket ever so slightly smaller than the 7 inches because I don't want it sticking out. What I'm going to do is just cut this. I'm actually going to make it, let's see, how wide do I want to make the pocket? As wide as my ruler, perhaps? Yeah, perhaps just a little bit wider. So I'm going to just line this up like so. And chop it off. And then I'm going to cut it at the 7 inches, so just under. So let's make it just under the 7 inches. Then I haven't printed on the back, so I think what I'll do is I'll do the markings on the back because it's just dots. It actually doesn't matter if where I'm going to cut. So what I like about Tim's ruler is it has these lines on it which help you to keep things straight. And I'm going to cut inside that mark so that I know for sure that that is going to be okay. Now, also on my desk a minute ago, I swear it was, is my 1.5 inch punch. Yes, there it is. Good grief. I do live in a Bermuda Triangle of my own making. So what I'm going to do is, and this doesn't have to be, mathematically correct. I'm just marking the middle of my piece of paper because I want to make a pocket thing. And I'm not using half the circle. I'm using less than half the circle. And I'm kind of aiming at about there. And in actual fact, what you can see is I have made marks on my inside of my punch so that I can have similar sort of size pockets each time. And next, what I'm going to do before I stick it down is I'm going to use some black soot just to edge it. Just to make it stand out from the rest of the page. And I really like inking my paper. You don't have to. It's a personal preference. I like inking it for 2 reasons. One, like I said, now that it stands out against anything else. So if you look where I haven't inked and you look where I have inked, it just gives you a harder edge. And secondly, the paper I haven't printed on the other side, but even if I had, the paper is then got a white core. And where you ink, you then don't see that white edge. And it's just something that I prefer doing because your eye is automatically drawn to the palest thing. So I'm going to totally cheat and not use glue. I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I've got this ridiculously skinny 1/8 tape, and I'm going to pop it right on the edge. It's entirely up to you. You can glue, you can tape. Good evening, Mother Goose. Nice to have you here. Thanks for popping in. I didn't advertise that I was going to do this because, as I said when I started out, real life has been getting in the way. But, family comes first, etc. So I do try and do my live on a Wednesday. And if not, I do try and, if I can't because I'm traveling or whatever, I try and do a pre-recorded video for you guys and girls. So I'm opting for the double-sided tape because I don't feel like dealing with glue ooze. Now to find my pokey tool and just see if I can rub that down and then flip it up. That would be nice. First time. Let's have a first time round. Not peel the whole. There we go. Oh, come on. Ta-da! Me and tape, we're not always friends. Especially if I put it on fabric or something, then I do tend to find that it fights me. And of course, the minute you're on camera, it seems to know. I don't know how these things do, these inanimate objects. Right, so let's pop this on the edge. It doesn't have to be bang on the edge. I can be slightly in because I've made it ever so slightly smaller. I just don't want it sticking out. So there we go. So now we have a pocket. So because I've glued it without the tabs, it's going to be quite nice and tight. So when I pop something like this in here, it's going to hold it a lot better so that when I'm turning the pages, you see there, it's not wanting to go flying out. Whereas if I made it with the little tabs underneath, that's fine if you've got a lot of things to pop in there, but I tend to find that when I flip the pages over, it's going to want to slide out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to darken that edge because, as I said, anything that is white is going to jump out at your eyes. So you can see here where I've dulled it, it's not really jumping out at you so much, but here where I haven't, your eye goes straight to it. So I'm just going to dull that edge, and I might as well carry on all the way along because I'm going to do that at the end anyway. So I've opted to go with the black edge for this. You could use any of the colors you have. You could go with brown for more of a vintage look. Right, so now we've got that far. Where to from here? So I like to repeat things. I like to repeat. It's Hannah. You're just in your crafting YouTube. Thank you for popping in. So nice to have you here. So yes, I don't always know people's Mother Goose's Makery. So don't always know people's YouTube handles. So what I'm hoping is that I will be able to get. Now this is going to be chancing my arm, but I'm going to pop it that way up because the punch is going to go that way. I'm going to just get it to behave so I can hopefully see it. If it doesn't, I've got lots more paper. But this punch is quite a fun one. There we go. Oh, I missed it. Okay, so I'm going to use it anyway, and I can stick it in this corner because I've got this piece off there. But again, I'm going to ink it, and I will do another one using the offcut. So I get a full butterfly the next time round. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold him. Oh, how do you know if it's a him or a her? I don't know with butterflies if there's a gender. So that I get the body. And it can go in this corner down there, but I prefer it flying in from up here. So let's do that. So you see that fits perfectly there, even though it was slightly unintended. And now I'm going to punch another one where I know it will absolutely behave itself. Let's just see. Yes. Let's make the confetti over to one side there. There we go. Pop it out. So again, I like to use the ink to help pop it off the page, because if you just put it on the page, it's fine. But where I've got the black, again, you can see that it really makes it quite nice and bold and strong. And now I need a third butterfly, preferably somewhere. Well, look, I've got a third butterfly. I'm looking for repetition of color. and repetition of shapes. So there's a little one printed over there, and of course I've got these ones over here. So what I might do is, out of the other paper that I've got printed and ready, I'm going to punch a pink butterfly and put it on this side. So let's see where I'm going to leave these. Oh, this guy has to go here. So let's commit and stick this one so long. Let's just hope that the glue is going to behave itself and not have to have its nose cleaned. Let's just see. Oh, yay. I did clean it earlier with the pin. That doesn't mean it hasn't blocked itself while I've been doing other things. And I need to just get some glue in this corner. Now, that should be enough. But I definitely need on these edges where it's going to be the edge of the book. You need to make sure that those are well glued so that they don't misbehave at a later stage. There we go. So there's that butterfly. I'm leaving this one here for now because this green is leading your eye around the page quite nicely. Now I'm going to have a look at my other papers that I printed, and I've got this here that I think would be rather nice. Let's see what else I've got. I could, of course, cut out one of these. But again, I'm looking for repetition of design and color. So I'm looking for a third butterfly in this pattern. So do I want to go with that? Do I want to go with this area here, which is darker? I think I'm going to try and see all that. Might land up cutting both, and then nothing's ever wasted. One can always the thing is, the butterfly is long ways this way. So now I'm going to put it in so that I can actually see the pattern. Let's just see. Let's throw the confetti on that side. So we have a rather light pink butterfly. And let's see. Oh, my green one's gone fluttering onto the floor. I'll have to retrieve it shortly. So let's just cut in there so that I can get the punch in. And before I roll my chair over this guy, I'm going to just retrieve it from the floor. And let's just see. I might have to cut a little longer because this is quite a deep punch. And of course, the nice thing is, because this is printed paper, if I need more, well, I can just print more. It's not like you have to rush out to the shops or go and order more online. Okay, let's dump the confetti on that side. I think I prefer the darker butterfly on the side. It links that up nicer. I mean, that's fine, but it's just a little bit wishy-washy. You need to download these papers. They're so pretty. Yes, they are really pretty. I had such fun making them and printing everything. I mean, I have got so many ideas in my head. It's Tim says he's got popcorn brain. Well, I seem to have caught his popcorn brain when it comes to all these designs and ideas. So this vintage rose, I mean, the funniest thing is I'm not much of a flower person to use flowers when I'm actually making like a scrapbook page or something like that. But I do like flowers, and I like the vintage look. Right, so I'm happy with that, and I'm going to go with, let's go with straight up here. Right, so once I've committed to those, then I'm going to get my stamps and stencils out and see where to from there. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this whole thing of the nice thing of designing for myself is, well, I'm my own boss, so I can make whatever I feel like playing with. It's quite fun. I mean, I enjoy a good brief and working for companies, but I must say the freedom to make what I come across has been really fabulous. And I must say, I found some amazing vintage newspapers from 2000, from 1914 in France. So I have still to photograph. They're too big to actually scan. My scanner is A4, so I'm going to have to photograph them and reduce them to be able to work with them because they are huge. They're so pretty and they're so gorgeous. Right, so where I'm at right now, I'm really happy with the triangle that I've created to lead your eye around the page, both with the green and then the 3 butterflies that are the same. Those butterfly links up. Those butterflies, of course, I could put any of the card fronts in there. You can put more than one. But now I want to first I want to clear the decks. So let's just get rid of all this confetti that I've been making with the punch. And put the glue lid back on. And then I'm going to bring this back. And I'm going to have a look at what stamps, etc. I have out. So I have got, I'm just popping this next to me over there. I have got all my stamps now organized in themes. So this is the front of my drawer. I've got flowers and butterflies in this box. So here's my block. And so I have got lots of butterflies in the way of stamps. I've got Timmy's one. I've got more flowers and butterflies there. I've got some more roses with Stamperia. So I'm going to pull those out. That's why those ones are there. I've got this one, which is Joanne's. It's more moths than butterflies and bugs. These skinny ones, and then I've got these ones from Stamperia, but I think I have enough butterflies on this page. It's the roses that I'm really after. The other thing I've also got out behind me, let me just grab it, is some stencils. So I have got this stencil by Stamperia that I think, as you can see, I do love it for these roses. And then what I normally do is just put a piece of this over here so that I know where to look when I need to put my stencil away. It's just a little trick I started doing because I have so many stencils and then sometimes I forget where they come from. I know it's so sad that Joanne's has stopped doing the stuff, but I see Simon says Stamp seems to have taken over, Karen. So they seem to be doing a lot of the Tim Holt stuff the way that Joanne's did, or where the tins of Stamp. Those are Darkroom Door. They're an Australian company, and the owner of Darkroom Door passed away. I think it was a year or two ago, but I've just heard recently that the Darkroom Door has been taken over. It's been bought out. And the lady who has bought it out I think she lives in the UK, although I don't know any more than that. So, yes, these were Darkroom Door. They're rather lovely. They came in the tins. And I have stuck some other butterflies in here, which I probably should take out because I had clean forgotten that I had stuck them in here. This was my butterfly box until I got more butterflies. So now I have more space. I'll take them out. And then what I've also done is I have made myself, these are, I can see because I punched the holes. These are on a shrink plastic. And I have myself here a mask. So I keep everything together. And I did have to, they came on their own sheet of this sticky back stuff. And you had to cut them out. That was the only drawback of those, but they really are beautiful, and I do love the storage. So yes, that's where those tins were from. So now let's see where to from here. What about having this rose come up here? And I would like the leaves over there and so on. So now what I need is a brush. I want to stencil with a brush. And I think, yeah, here's my black ink stencil brush. Let's put it closer to me on the side. Excuse my squeaky chair. So I'm going to, I prefer with these very, very thin. This is Stamperia's thinnest stencils. I prefer to use these nice soft makeup brushes through them. Funky Fossil has the most gorgeous ones. This just happens to be another brand that I've got, but these definitely are, if you have a look, they give you a really nice crisp image and get right through into all the nooks and crannies and corners of the stencil. So I really like using brushes for stenciling. There we go. I can go a bit darker at the top. So basically, I'm holding the stencil in one place. You could use tape, but I'm using my fingers like a hinge. Ah, I like that. Right, now, where to from here? We have, maybe we can have, so that looks like a smaller version of that. Maybe, where can I put it? Let's have it coming in from the corner. So what I'm going to do is, I've got it, there's the butterflies under there, butterflies over there, and I'm going to have it coming. I wanted it more of an angle. I don't want it to look too straight because there's a lot of vertical and horizontal designs already on this page. I can't see where there. I'm going to put my finger there so I don't go into the other stencil. Let's say I probably should just mark it off with masking tape, but I've actually left my masking tape on my dining room table because one of my neighbors gave me the most beautiful bunch of what I'm calling Van Gogh sunflowers, because they're not your average sunflower. They're those like million petal sunflowers. And I think they were out of water for quite a while before she brought them to me. And they have been they hung their heads, well, they came out of the packaging hanging their heads. So I've used wooden or bamboo skewers, sticks, and tape to hold their heads up. I've trimmed their tails, and hopefully overnight they will recover. Okay, so we have that, and I feel like we need a little bit more stencil work somewhere else. What else have I got? I've got this little rose that could probably go. Let's see what other bits and pieces I have that I could possibly stencil on in the way of things in my set. So let's just get there. Of course, quite far back. Look at me. It's a good thing the stuff all washes off. I have got, so this is from the online kit from the membership area, and I know that I did a blank like wood. Where is it gone now? Like just a blank wood grain one. Or maybe we'll use a ticket. I think a ticket might work rather well, actually. Let's grab some tickets out. I might have popped it in here because I had different sizes of things on the set, and yeah, so the white ones have gone in here. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. That might work. No, wrong color. Okay, let's just see what, maybe some of these might also work for stenciling onto. I'm looking for something with enough space, some blankness, not too much printing. Now you see what I've done is I cut these out and I inked them. These from the membership area only, I have, and I know it's them because I didn't print anything on the back of them. I have not inked. So I sat and pre-cut and pre-inked everything of the ephemera set. Right, let's pop this on the side and see what works. So do we do a tag? I like that pink. That definitely works well. Maybe we can do a little bit of a crisscross something or other. Maybe we can make this ticket into a pocket, and then we can have the tag in the pocket. I think that works. That works quite nicely. Do we do the ticket that way? Do we do it that way? Do I cut it off and put that somewhere else? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to reinvent this ticket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just chop that off. And I'm going to kind of make up my own little curve there and my own little curve there. And I'm going to come back in. You see, I've already black inked that. So it's just ink. Not that we're going to see that side, silly Billy. We're not actually going to be seeing that side at all. And this is now going to be my pocket. And what am I going to put on the pocket? Maybe we'll just stick its original tag back. How about that? Oh, I like it. I like it. And what about some stamping? So let's take some stamping out. How about, what about if we put that on that side and we make a little stamping over the top like so? I like that. So let's glue this in place. So what I'm doing here is this is literally all I had planned before I went live was doing the pocket. I had obviously taken out all my stamps and things that I thought I could possibly use, and stencils and my punches. So this is kind of how I work for myself. This is an enormous I'll take that one. I don't need such a big block for such a little stamp. And I'm going to stick with black. And I'm going to go kind of at a jaunty angle like that across the pocket that I'm now making. And let's just add a little bit of that brown. I want black. because my stamping didn't work very well, and I know that it's because of this step down there. I should have stood up and done some CPR, but I didn't, because now what I think this is my thickest one. Yes, so I'm just gonna kind of, let's see what was missing. So it really just needed to join up like so, and the stem needed to continue, and we can maybe give it a bit more shading. These are shaded with dots, so we'll just add a few more dots, and yep, that looks fine to me. So we'll just make that up. Great. So now we have a pocket that we're going to put there-ish, because we want our tag. We don't want our tag covering that. And we're going to stamp on that. So let's use the double-sided tape again on the pocket. So I'm going to, let's get back in shot. You know, land up with a 6-inch square by the time you've finished doing anything. And that did not cut well, so there we go. Let's go from there. And which way is up? So I need it along the bottom. We don't want to accidentally put the tape on the top of, and then you just wouldn't pull the red line at backing off, but it's preferable to not glue your pocket shut. I've done crazy things like that before, don't you worry. We're all human and we all make mistakes. In the excitement of making things, sometimes I overthink it and I very carefully put something in the wrong place, and other times, well, I just don't think at all, and I'm just so excited to get it done that I just, stick my card front on the back of the card, stick it upside down. Yes, we've all been there, done that. Right. So now we have our pocket and we want it round about there. So I'm going to just line it up with this line that is already here. So now we have that. Now let's do a little bit more stamping. Now that was not clever. I didn't clean my stamp after stamping. So now I have a nice dirty finger. So now let's see what will fit on. I think so now we have 2 stencils and we'll have 2 stamps, but I think that'll work. So we're going to just go with that. And is that a hair on there? How rude. Looks like some Hessian. Okay. And get that on there. Ink it up. And I'm probably going to call this pretty much done. I mean, I can add some more things in this pocket, perhaps some more layers, and perhaps a few more layers in this pocket in the way of tickets and things and tags. Now at this stage, the book is quite nice and flat, so I could actually stamp on here. Over time, when it gets fatter, that is just so annoying. I'm just going to have to clean my desk anyway, so I'll just do that. And then I will pop that down. I think the stamp needs a good old wash. I think it's overused, lost its sticky. It wasn't stuck to the packaging. That should have given me the heads up that it was going to misbehave, but I didn't. So let's give it some CPR just in case. A 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a breathe. Ta-da! Nice dirty desk, but nothing that some alcohol won't clean. And that can go in there. And somewhere I have a punch for that hole. It's not a very big hole, so I'm going to use my crocodile punch. And there we go. Perfect. What else can I do to my page? So let's have a look for a few more things. So what about some more tags in places? So we have, that one's quite pretty. Maybe we can have it sticking out that way. There we go. Nice green bird. Does that look like behind there? I like that layering. That works well. Tag with a tag. Now this tag has some printing on the back, so I don't have to worry. What does this tag have? Also has some printing on the back, so there we go. Hello, Angela. All is okay at home. Thanks. All is good. So let's see, that one has that, and let's see what happens when I open and close the book. Because I glued this without the tabs, you see, even with the second thing in there now, it's not falling about, which is good. I'm thinking maybe one more tag in there. I do like nice full pockets, and I have got the membership area ones, which are rather large, and I think we'll perhaps add a nice layer that it's not inked because I've only just cut it out. There we go. I like that. Plus we need to do something on the back. So let's ink its edge, because that will make all the difference to standing out against everything else. And I'll ink this edge. And now somewhere I have my I think we'll use cracked pistachio, just to give some color to the back of this. I know it's going all, because it's photo paper, it tends to grab the foam, so it's going to make all these round circular shapes. So we'll do that on purpose. And then because everything else has kind of wood grain and texture and stuff on, I'm going to find my Timmy wood grain stamp, and let's just find it behind me, of course. Tim background. Let's see, what are we going to use? Where's my wood grain? Wood grain, where's my wood grain? Here is my wood grain. So I'm not even going to take it off its own block. I am going to ink it up. As I said, my table is now a disaster zone because I dropped the stamps, so I'm not too phased if I get it dirty, because I'm going to have to clean it Anyway, thanks, Angela. And let's line that up and give it a good old, I'm going to give it CPR. I'm going to have to stand up and give it CPR. And in the middle. And again, if it doesn't work, we just add perhaps some crackle from the other side, which I might do anyway. So that disguises all the blotchiness underneath, gives it some color and texture. And then just for fun, I think I'm going to add this butterfly that we cut out earlier right at the beginning, and then I decided not to use it. So waste not, want not. And do its tummy. And pop that. That's not standing up much, is it? Right, so it needs to be pink. So let's see what's left on my applicator tool here. I think that might pink it enough. Let's see. I think that'll work because then it'll have enough color to stand out against the green. Yes, much better. Only now it needs more black. Bit of this, bit of that's like cooking. Add a bit more salt, add a bit more garlic, add a bit more onions, perhaps some pepper. Rightio there. So I think once I've done that, I'm going to call it a day. Okay, let's just see. Is glue actually coming out? Yes. Right. Have a flutterby over there. And now, before I lay anything on top of this crazy desk of mine, excuse me a second while I do the push back and clear and a little bit of alcohol. Oh, I need to refill it. Because, of course, this is going to get all over the cover when I put it here. And we don't want that. You can see how it's dissolving it nicely already. And we'll just come in. I will do a proper job once I do it off air. There we go. So I feel like that's good to put that down. Right, so we've got tag this way, tag that way, butterflies, some more butterflies, tags there. I had fun doing that. And yeah, there's so many ways you can do this. So I can still, of course, if I want to write, I can write there. I've got lots of space to add notes and things. I can glue things on there. There's space on there. It all depends on what you want to use these books for. But I just like playing with pretty things. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So thanks for watching and joining me this evening. If you missed the beginning, it will be on YouTube. So if you're watching from Facebook, remember I think it's a month after 30 days, Facebook will delete it, but it'll always be over on my YouTube channel. So Belinda Basson. You find me under Instagram, Belinda Basson, Facebook, Belinda Basson, YouTube, Belinda Basson, my website, Belinda Basson. It's like a pink rash. So thanks so much for joining me. That was awesome. And we will see you next Wednesday at the same time with What's on My Work Desk Wednesday. Bye for now.